Today's episode is brought to you by JerkSwag.
For all your fishing supply needs, head to Angler's Alley. Here you'll find decades of experience with seasoned boat captains and expert fishermen. And when it comes to lures and jigs, you'll find the master baiters at Angler's Alley are eager to help you wrangle your rod. Angler's Alley Fishing Supply. Our dynamic trio of sports enthusiasts and longtime friends bring you the latest sports news, heated debates, and offbeat stories from the wide world of sports. Whether you're a diehard fan or just enjoy a good laugh, we've got you covered. Are your balls out?
Suck it, jabroni.
Hey, are you ready? Are you done fucking around?
Hey. Yo.
I do not have peanut butter on my list here.
Oh, my goodness. That's ridiculous.
You're listening to the Balls Out Sports Podcast. Here are your hosts, Ala, Crispy, and Jonas Mount.
Ooh, by the time you starting to fade out, making it seem a little professional.
All right, so alongside Ala to my left, we got Crispy in Greenville, South Carolina. I am Jonas Mount. Fellas, what's happening?
The #1 sports and recreational podcast in South Carolina.
You heard it from him.
Just had to let you know that.
Ala's word. Crispy, how we feeling? How we doing?
What's up, family?
All right.
All's good?
All right. All is lovely here. Oh, man. I've been looking forward to this show. We just had our little half hour or so pregame before we got onto the air. A lot to talk about. By the way, if you were watching that, we'll continue the conversation really quickly. Nick Sirianni is from where?
Not New York, though. That's
Jamestown,
upstate.
New York.
That's upstate.
He's from the Northeast, is he not?
Do you claim all parts of
Boom.
South Carolina to be South Carolina?
It's in the South, is it not?
No.
Is it in the South?
You're not listening to me, though.
I guess I choose not to.
You're listening, but I need you to
I'm not
hear
hearing
me.
you.
I
Right.
need you to hear me.
Okay.
Right?
New York.
Northeast, yes. I'll give you the Northeast part.
Okay, yeah.
But not New York. Just like city people don't claim upstate, Albany, Ithaca,
Is Jamestown in New York?
Binghamton. We don't claim none of that.
Is Jamestown in
That's
New
not
York?
New York. That's not the city.
Is Jamestown in New York?
No, not in my opinion.
Well, you're wrong.
No, it's true.
No, it's not true. Because it said Nick Sirianni, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, is from Jamestown, New York.
He's a douche. I'm going to let you know.
Fair enough. All right, that's your opinion of the guy. But the fact is he's from the Northeast. He's from New York. And
Northeast.
it may be because he's douchey. It's because he's from New York. I don't know.
Oh, that's...
Douchey?
I don't like that.
Look, you said he was
You're
kind
being
of douchey,
judgmental.
and I said, where's he from?
You're being judgmental.
I'm not being judgmental. I may be being
You're being regional biased.
regional biased. Okay, that's fair enough.
I don't like that.
All right, well, you'll get over it. You'll be all right. We do have a ton to talk about. Crispy looks like he's looking something up. He's making notes are to his right.
Yeah, notes are over here.
Looking things up to your left.
Food, beverage, entertainment stuff over here. To the left.
Food, beverage, and entertainment to the left. Notes to the right.
Entertainment.
This is show. That's another show. Speaking of shows, this is show number 14, our Christmas edition, because we've only got a few days until the fat man comes down the chimney.
Ho, 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 MFers.
There you go. Gotta love it.
Should have worn my Santa hat.
Speaking of Fat Man, I haven't seen that movie yet, and I wanted to, and I keep forgetting about it.
Are you calling me a fat man?
No, the Mel Gibson movie
Oh,
where he plays Santa Claus. where
yeah,
he's
never
like,
watched it yet.
I
Yeah.
want to see that.
I've seen a lot of Christmas movies this year, but
Oh, yeah, a
not
ton.
that.
Yeah,
Not that.
yeah. Violent Night, seen that.
Haven't seen that either. I
good,
haven't seen
man.
Krampus.
Krampus. Yeah, that's a little extreme.
My daughter was like, "Oh, that's the devil version." I was
Right.
like, what do you
Basically.
know about this?"
Basically.
She said, "Dad, I seen Five Nights at Freddy's."
Oh,
I said, "Who are
with
you?"
whom? Like who authorized this?
Who's the guardian of this child?
I just Apple paid her some money to go to movies. I don't know. I wasn't there at that moment. So
Yeah, this is our Christmas edition. I mean, we've got a lot to get to here. This is NFL heavy tonight because there have been just so many conversations around, quarterback play in general from pretty much every NFL team. And we're gonna have a conversation tonight about the playoffs as they stand right now in both the AFC and the NFC, and with the exception of one team right now. And look, the reality is we've been doing this over the course of the season, and we could go back easily and have a conversation about, well, remember what you said in this show, and remember what you said in that show, and you thought that this team was this, and you thought this team was that. The NFL right now is ever changing from week to week. I mean, it was just a few weeks ago we thought that this team was this, and this team was that, and this team was. There's one team in the NFL right now that's the team to beat. Other than that, there are just question marks across the board. It's just question marks across the board. I don't know what to make of the rest of these teams. Are they contenders? Are they pretenders? And as of right now, even though we'll answer these questions, there's one contender and the rest are pretenders as we speak.
All of them.
Every single one?
Well, I mean, that one team. They have a left tackle who's the best left tackle in football, right?
I mean, they've got a lot of really good things on that team.
But that guy specifically.
100%.
His name's Williams, right?
Yes, it is.
That team is the best team in football.
That team is the best team in football, in my
opinion.
And when they're 100% healthy, this is going to be a tough act to follow for anybody. The only question that I have, of course, is whether or not the quarterback play come playoff time for said football team is going to continue to play at the level that he's been playing so far. Once we get to the playoffs, what's that going to look like? The pressure is now on you versus the end of last season where you were playing with house money, right? The expectations weren't there. You just did what you did. Now you have all these pieces around you. You have a very good defense. You have what is widely considered to be an unstoppable offense when all things are clicking and when everybody's healthy, which they are, and we've seen that's evident right in the last month or so. So the questions for me, the only question for me is going to be whether or not said quarterback is going to be able to manage any level of controversy or, anything. Like when things aren't going well, will he be able to manage his emotions? If they get down in a game, is it something he can control? Has he got control of the huddle? Everything else. So there's a lot there, but as of right now, 100% the team to beat. We'll talk about that team here in just a few minutes because we are going to break down, as it stands right now, the AFC and the NFC playoff picture. So it's muddled for sure because things are changing on a week-to-week basis, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Year of the backup quarterback, article by Bleacher Report. We'll get into that conversation as well. We'll also, when we're going to talk AFC, NFC playoff picture, we'll talk about the year of the backup quarterback, but then we'll also get back into some of the starters currently, right? Are there injury-related issues that are causing some of the teams right now to have concerns? Is that why the offense isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing? Where's Jalen Hurts fit in all this? Lamar Jackson, let's talk about a couple of those guys. We'll also get into some coaches. Right now, there's 5 coaches on a list. And I don't know that anybody else in this room or up in Greenville, South Carolina, have seen this article or seen this list of coaches, and I'd like to surprise you with them. I'll break them down for you, and we'll have a conversation. And we'll talk a little NBA basketball, a little baseball, a little bit.
There are 4 NBA games for today.
Oh, sweet.
Whoops.
Thanks.
Wow.
Appreciate that, sir.
Sorry, lady.
I'm watching one of them right now.
Okay. Which one are you watching?
Pelicans and Grizzlies.
Pelicans and Grizzlies. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Did you see the video of John Morant back in the practice arena and they was all hugging him and so happy because they sucked this year?
Oh.
But he's still
Yeah, they're down by 20 right now to Pelicans.
Damn.
still in court talking about, he pulled his pants up. So from where I'm from, I know what that means. It's like, but he's 17. He's like, so? What's that matter?
So?
That's true.
Yep. So because this is the Christmas edition, of course, we figured that, the best top 5 we could come up this week would be our top 5 Christmas movies of all time. This was not a difficult list for me. This was the easiest list I've compiled so far this year. What about you?
Me?
Yeah, was this a tough list for you to compile?
Come on now.
Easy, right?
Yeah. You ain't gonna like none of my movies either. I know you ain't.
Why?
I can tell. You look like I'm not judging
Paula, will
you.
I like any of them?
probably like one or two. I think one or two or three of ours probably are all the same. Like it's
Okay.
It's a given that these, and I lump a couple of them together because they're numbers, right?
Fair enough. I
see,
got
look,
you.
we know
Yeah,
that
I got where
part.
you're going with that. Yeah.
But yeah, we probably have three of the same movie.
Okay.
I guarantee it.
So the other two you don't think I'm going to like?
I know you're not. Well, your humor, you might like one of them, but
Okay.
is it a Christmas movie? Is it not a Christmas movie?
Fair enough. Well, that's the age-old question as well.
Because Die Hard is not. And if anybody got Die Hard on their list, that's wrong. It's not a Christmas movie. We'll talk about that later, though.
It's not on my list of top fives, but it is a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas was happening. Don't make it a Christmas movie.
No, it's a
though.
Christmas. It's going on Christmas Eve, so it's a Christmas movie. A lot of Christmas references. It's a Christmas movie. Deal with it.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Apparently, Crispy agrees with you and not with me.
Yeah, I hate it.
You hate Die Hard?
Yes.
No, I don't hate Die Hard, but it's not a Christmas movie. I hate that because Christmas is in the scene, it's a Christmas movie. Stacey was watching a couple of them the other day. I was like, what is this? Just the stretch of Christmas movies? Just because Christmas is in it?
Do you think Friday After Next is a Christmas movie?
Whoa. That's a little
Oh,
rude.
Lord.
No,
There we go.
Because that's on my list.
oh,
That's on my list. See, you're starting. You're not supposed to start this early with that.
we were talking about what's a Christmas movie and
That
what
is a
isn't. I
Christmas
didn't know
movie.
that wasn't going to be.
That's
on the list.
100% a Christmas movie because it
Why
was
is that
Christmas. Santa broke in. He beat him with the tree. He was a crackhead Santa, and it's all Christmas in there. The intro literally is Christmas.
Okay.
You see the crackhead Santa running around stealing stuff.
All right, so I apologize. I didn't realize that was going to
Thanks,
be
you don't
one
ruin
that
my
was on
list
your
already.
I'm sorry.
I
Good. I'm
quit.
glad I ruined something for you. That's fantastic.
Can't do this anymore.
As long as it's not number one.
Nah, no. It's not.
Okay, I was going to be like, you know what? We'll just you don't get to do a list.
It was pushing it.
Oh,
No,
good
it's not.
Lord.
It's not number one.
All right. Okay, so we are going to get into quite a few things here. Let's talk AFC, NFC playoff pictures as it stands right now after 15 weeks.
Oh, I didn't even know what week it. I gave up. So
This season's gone by way too fast.
It really has gone by too quickly. This is inevitably, we always say this, like when we get towards the end of football season, it's like, really? Already?
we should have 132 games.
We should have football every week. 52 weeks a year.
Not if. Well, no, I'm sorry. We don't want. It's a lot of bad play.
Yeah, but it's still football.
That's true.
You're just watching football. I mean, look, people watch Thursday night football, and it's normally
That's
pretty terrible.
disgusting.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty terrible football.
Every game been bad.
Well, we've
Thursday
had one.
games suck.
We've had one good. Which one was that? That's recent. A couple weeks ago.
Was
we
that
were
the
talking about.
Seahawks Cowboys
The
game? or
Seahawks
something like
Cowboys
that?
game. Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
it still suck.
That was a good game, though.
Thursday games are terrible.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play on Thursday.
Al Michaels, of course, is the play-by-play guy. Of course, you heard about that, right? Al
Not
Michaels
anymore.
didn't
I wonder why.
No, he's still Thursday night football, but he got
He's
pulled
not
from
doing the
playoffs.
The playoff.
Yeah,
coverage.
NBC has 3 playoff games this coming playoff season, and he was originally going to be, and now he's not. So,
You can't do that to a legend like that.
well, a lot of it had to do with they said that last season when he was calling the remind me of that game, the huge comeback game, the Jacksonville game. Was it Jacksonville
Chargers?
Indy? No, Jacksonville
Chargers.
Chargers. Yeah,
Mhm.
when they came back, it was a lot of people critiqued it because he was just pretty much his usual monotone style all the way through, and it's kind of like you didn't really kind of give that any. It was one of the greatest playoff comebacks in the history of the game, and he kind of just
Stop all that bull.
I'm just saying that's
What
what they said. What? Don't look at me. I didn't say it.
No, the reports are and the rumors are it's because he said he's tired of seeing Taylor Swift out there.
That's probably what it really is, but they were looking for another excuse. But he's not wrong. In
He's
fact,
just like-
the man
he's
should
just
be
like us.
given. He should be given an award for that.
Absolutely.
But he's also 79 years old.
And
I'm just saying, he's not. He doesn't have much time left in the booth, man.
he still calls a great game.
He does. He does talk a great game. All right.
And he was partnered with John Madden, so I can't stop him for that.
No, you can't. You
Nope.
can't. AFC, NFC playoff picture. Let's start with the AFC right now. We know who the number 1 seed in the AFC is currently, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. They sit at 11-3. Listen, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you that I think that the Baltimore Ravens aren't worthy of a playoff berth. Of course, the record stands for it stands alone. They're 11-3. They're number one in the AFC North. But of all the teams so far, like if I just look at the number one team in the AFC versus the number one team in the NFC, there's something about the Baltimore Ravens that it's probably the least impressive 11-3.
Absolutely.
It's and I'm not taking anything away from it. Again, it's not because I don't think that they can continue to win. But it's just the way that they win, right? And sometimes it is ugly. Sometimes it's not the most drama-filled game, and they're not putting up crazy stats or anything else. It's when I watch Baltimore, the games that I have watched, and I have not watched every single one of them this year, but when I have watched their games, is it addition by subtraction with Baltimore?
I'll tell you the truth, it's boring. They're playing really boring football right now.
But sometimes boring gets it done.
Absolutely.
Right.
But you have one of the most dynamic players in the league, a former MVP, one of the guys that everybody says is in their top. They'll start their franchise with him. But it's just boring football. I don't want to see my quarterback running the ball 20 times a game. If I wanted to see that, I would go watch a high school team running some veer option.
Right. That's what Goose Creek did a few years ago, and they won state doing it. But yeah,
I will go watch that if I want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see no-name running backs because they have a lot of injuries this year, and all they do is just run the ball. And then when he does throw the ball, he completes a couple passes. They'll break free, but he's not as accurate this year as he's been Lamar this year too. It's boring football.
Crispy, is it impressive that what you've seen from them? And I'll use this particular player as an example of whether or not we think that they've played impressive football and they are where they are, despite the fact that they don't have Mark Andrews, which has been the go-to guy, the security blanket for Lamar Jackson for a long time. Hasn't had him in weeks, and yet the team still manages to get it done.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of the Ravens games this year. Let's keep in mind they've got those 3 losses. 2 of those, they should have won those games. They were up by 2 touchdowns. They let them go. This team could easily be undefeated. We had talked about this on a couple of shows back about Andrews being out. You'd be curious to see how they do. Do we remember what game that was that he went out on? Was that against the Browns?
I don't remember.
It was a
I don't remember yesterday.
drop tackle from, I think it was a divisional game, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe it was the Bengals game. I was thinking that it was the Bengals game, but they've gone 4-0 since that. They've beaten the Bengals, Chargers, Rams, and Jaguars in that stretch. They mollywopped, as you like to say, the Lions 38-6 earlier in the season.
Yeah, that was a huge win.
We talk about
They mollywopped the Seahawks at the time, 37-3. They got some nice wins on their resume. The big one this week. Well, yeah, they've lost those a couple of games that they should not have lost. Yes, 100%. Just like the San Francisco 49ers went on a 3-game losing streak themselves. That's the best team in football. They hit a little lull. They got lackadaisical probably in these games that they lost. But I'm actually a fan of the Ravens. We talk about that boring football. We talk about that 3-0 game that we had the other week. That's old school kind of football. They control the football. What's the best offense? Keeping your offense off of the field, right? They talk about the Miami Dolphins being a high scoring offense, but if they're not on the field, they can't score, right? So the Baltimore Ravens, they can drive, they can dink and dunk it if they need to. They are running the rock with people that we may not know about. I think that speaks to where they are. And that defense is really good. And especially with all of the injuries that they've had on that defensive side, to still be doing what they're doing, I think is pretty impressive. And I think they should be a team that we need to watch out for.
I think one of the issues that I have with Baltimore, and I don't disagree with all the sentiments. I'm sort of at this impasse here when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens a little bit, because you're 11-3, you're 11-3. I can't take that away from you, and you have to play the people you have in front of you. Like, it's the argument that everybody has in college football. Well, you played a really weak schedule. Well, that schedule A was made a long time ago, number one. Number two, you just play the teams that you have in front of you. You can't control who it is that you're playing, and you can't control their record coming into said week. But the games that you talked about, that I'm more concerned about the way in which they lost those games that they should have supposedly won than I am about how they've won the 11 games that they've won. Right?
Especially that Browns game.
Well, and that's kind of goes back to what we've seen, from them in the past when there is some adversity, when Lamar has to press too much. They start, things start to creep in. The bad thoughts will start to creep in. You start to see some of those mistakes. I mean, I think that this also may be the most impressive 11-3 Baltimore Ravens team that I've witnessed in recent years, for the simple fact that Lamar is probably not the MVP, that they haven't been playing this unbelievable run and gun, crazy, wacky football that they've done in the past, where he's thrown a ton and he's run for a ton, and there's all these things that are going on, and he's on this like MVP pace. They've gotten it done playing ugly football. The question that I have really quickly, actually, it's slightly derailing here, but the Mitchell went down in that game. Is he done?
I think so.
What, did he tear
Tore
something?
ACL.
Yeah, jeez. When he went down, I was like, oh, God, I could kind of just tell the way he did. I didn't follow up on that. I wasn't sure if he'd actually torn something or not. And he's been playing some good football this year. So that's going to be
the undrafted kid, right?
Yeah. And that's going to be a little problematic for them, because I think he was that lightning rod at the running back position for me, comparatively speaking. Like, he was the go-to guy. He was the one they handed the ball off to more so than they did Gus Edwards. I think that'll be a little problematic.
More recently, they had been getting to Mitchell more often. But I think that's the other great thing. Now, Gus Edwards is going to step in. He's got some fresh legs. They're going to be able to, hopefully finish off the season. I don't know. I don't want them to be the number one seed. Of course, I want to be selfish there. We got to match up against them in 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
They've got a tough schedule ahead of them. Let's see what happens. And just real quick, they have the 4th highest points scored in the league right now. And they're the number 1 points against. So they're not allowing the points, and they're also scoring. So I think that adds also to how good this team can be.
Yeah, I just look at those last 4 weeks. And fortunately, I think for them, from a schedule perspective, is that they weren't exactly playing the creme de la creme of the NFL in the last 4 weeks without Mark Andrews. So they benefited greatly from playing.
They had a weak schedule.
The last 4 weeks. That's fine, and it's going to go up and down.
Said you got to play the schedule that's in front of you.
No, I understand that, but I used the Mark Andrews piece, right? So it was a little bit easier for them, based on the schedule in front of them, to not have their number one go-to security blanket at that particular point in the season. The reason I say that is because what's it going to look like when the chips are there, and he needs that go-to guy. Who becomes the go-to guy? Now, I know Lively's actually played pretty well, and I think he played well in the last game against Jacksonville as well, a team that's kind of faltering at the end of the season. But I'm just going to be interested to see when the chips are stacked against and he needs the go-to guy, who's he going to go to if Andrews is not there? When we really get down to it.
If Beckham stays healthy, I think that's going to be a perfect time for Beckham to step up and be that guy for him. Zay's doing really well. Aguilar, he's decent. He's made some big catches for him when they need it.
I can't believe that dude's still playing.
Doing enough.
I forget about Aguilar, and then all of a sudden I'm reminded that he's still playing in the league. Like, it's just
this could be a sneaky team. I don't know. Could be a sneaky team in my opinion.
Could be, but
they're gonna get in and choke.
I don't know.
It is what it is.
We'll see. Number 2 team in the AFC right now is the Miami Dolphins. We'll talk about each one of these teams momentarily. I just want to run down really quickly the teams that are looking like they're in the hunt and in / maybe not. Who knows? Chiefs obviously are 9-5 right now, number 1 in the AFC West. We mentioned the Dolphins, number 2. They're 10-4. They're first in the AFC East. The Jaguars sitting in the 4 seed right now, 8-6, first in the AFC South. Browns 9-5, second in the AFC South. Bengals, who are playing surprisingly good football over the last couple weeks, 8-6, third in the AFC South, and the Colts also 8-6, second in the AFC South. You've got a couple of teams on the bubble. Texans 8-6 as well, but by the tiebreaker, they're third in the AFC South. And you got the Bills, who are getting hot right now. And is it too little, too late for Buffalo, but right now 8-6, second in the AFC East, sitting a couple games behind the Miami Dolphins. But you have to look at the Bills, the way they're playing right now, comparatively speaking, to even several of the teams ahead that I mentioned, whether it be the Texans, the Colts, the Bengals, even the Browns, and certainly the Jaguars. I mean, I put my money right now just in the last couple weeks. Again, we're basing this on what we know recently, right? And the Bills, the way they played the last 2 weeks, especially with a very convincing win over the Dallas Cowboys this past weekend. The Bills right now could be the team that could cause a lot of problems for some of these other teams that are, sort of kind of in as we speak right now in the AFC.
AFC sucks. Let me just be real. I mean, there's no true team like over there in the NFC. And the NFC's having their problems too.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year. I get it.
Yeah.
It's the extra game. I get it. There's injuries galore on every single team. It's just nobody on that side of things in the AFC has ran away with it. Even though San Fran had that little 3-game stretch, they still was considered one of the best teams in the league, right?
Yeah, and they were certainly dealing with their fair share of injuries at the time as well. I mean, they're probably their number one player wasn't playing for a couple of weeks during that stretch of time. But it also speaks to some comments about Brock Purdy and whether or not he's the guy when the chips are stacked against you as well, when you don't have your number one player in the game or on your team and arguably the MVP of the league. But let me make this comment. And Chris, I'm going to come to you as well about some of these other teams. But besides the Bills, who are getting hot, and I look at the top two teams in the AFC right now with the Ravens and the Dolphins. The Dolphins have their fair share of problems, like everybody else does. I mean, they're 10-4. They may have lost a couple of games they shouldn't have lost this season as well. But, the Chiefs are, I don't know. I at the beginning of the year when we picked our Super Bowl matchups, I thought that they were just going to do what they usually do. And, of course, if they get into the playoffs, that's usually where they start showing their true colors. I just don't know if this year just feels different now, watching them through 15 weeks. I'm not convinced about the Chiefs, Jaguars, Browns, Bengals, Colts. None of those teams scare me right now, and I don't think should really scare anybody else in the AFC, especially those top two teams. Again, right now the Bills are the only team that I look at as a team that may be getting hot at just the right time and could cause some serious problems if they get into the playoffs.
I don't know. I think the Colts are kind of underrated.
That's because you're a Minshew fan. So
I've been told y'all about Gardner Minshew,
right.
But that defense is real.
That defense is
Zaire Franklin is amazing.
Yeah,
very underrated. If they get Jonathan Taylor back, I think they become even better. They have one of the better offensive lines. The receivers are coming on. The young receivers are coming on. The defense isn't that bad.
No, and they're probably going to kick the crap out of Atlanta this weekend, so you'll be able to.
I didn't even know y'all was playing. I really didn't know that.
They are playing this weekend, so.
Ooh. Y'all might lose by 30 like we did.
That's a possibility.
Hey, is there any such thing as quality losses?
Sounds like moral victories, right? I don't know. I don't know.
The reason I'm bringing this up is Baltimore has lost 3 games, and all 3 of those teams are in the playoff hunt right now. So just the teams that they've lost to, decent teams. The Buffalo Bills had some bad losses. Granted, those were, periodic through the season. Lost to the Jets. That's a bad loss. Jaguars, which was on a high at that time. Lost to the Patriots. Bengals, Broncos, when the Broncos were just starting to get hot. Then they had that close one against Philly. So I could kind of see where you're talking about the Bills starting to get things going. I think it's more so with the change of the offensive coordinator that they had a couple weeks ago. They got rid of the kid from Miami, the quarterback from Miami.
Dorsey,
yeah, Ken Dorsey.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the way that the playoffs look right now in the AFC. It's got some different teams in there. It's not the same teams that we've seen in recent years. So I'm excited to see how the playoffs play out.
I'd probably be a little bit more excited if I was a Dolphins fan too, because again, I don't have a lot of confidence in the teams that are below you right now. The Jaguars are definitely trending downward.
Because Trevor
right
Lawrence
now
gets hurt every 5 seconds now because that line is so bad.
The Chiefs are just sort of staying here
Complaining about refs all the damn time.
across the board, which again, it could be fine for them. But and I usually say, all right, they're going to flip a switch when they get into the playoffs, and they know how to win. They're more capable. They have a better understanding of how to win in the playoffs than any other team in the NFL currently, right? They know how to do it. They're the most successful team in the league in the last 3 to 4 years. So they know how to do it. It's just, and I don't know if I'm alone in this assessment, but it just feels different. It feels like it's been so hard all year long that just getting those 9 wins has just been crazy difficult for them. A lot more difficult than it has been in the past. It doesn't seem easier, right? And when even the games that they win feels like it's just a very difficult proposition to get there to those 9 wins. Now that's a character builder potentially. It's just, and I never thought I would say this about the Kansas City Chiefs, but who are they going to throw the ball to who's not named Travis Kelce? And I really do think that that's still going to be a problem for this team come playoff time because everybody knows how to defend them now. Right? You're not really going to defend Patrick Mahomes per se. He's going to get it done. But at the same time, let's just double up Travis Kelce. Let's put 2 or 3 guys on him and then play man coverage with everybody else because I just don't have any confidence that when they need to catch the football in a meaningful situation that they're going to get it done.
They got Kadarius Toney. So,
I mean, when you say that, nobody can take that seriously.
why?
Yeah.
He has a ring.
True that.
He does have a ring.
What do you say about that, right? There's some players that don't.
As a Dolphins fan, I have to worry about these next 3 weeks. I can't be looking into the playoffs and see what seed I want to be right now. I got some tough games I got to play. Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. I got a tough road. There's a very good possibility I could be on the outside looking in after the final.
Who have the Bills got left?
So,
well, besides game against y'all. No, wait, you don't play them. Yes, you do play them.
yeah, we play them.
Yeah.
They have the Chargers this week, the Patriots next week, and then the Dolphins.
Ooh, this could end up being really interesting at the end of the
The
season.
Chargers are a shit show.
Yeah, 100%. And the Patriots are crap.
The
That's
thing
even
we
worse.
have going for us is we're 4-1 in the conference right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying about that's where the problem could lie for
Well, they
Miami
got
is
that.
because they've got the tough last 3 games, and the Bills, besides the Miami game, the other 2 are winnable. I mean, this could come down to the very last. It's because you play them at the end of the season, right? Bills Dolphins last game of the season. That could be one of them.
And they beat
That
us
could be
earlier
like
in
that,
the season too.
huh?
This would be the second game of the season. We played them earlier in the season. They beat us pretty badly. First game was our first loss of the season. So
I mean, could come
yeah.
down to who wins the division that last game of the season.
I don't care.
well, we're 4-1 in the division.
Right.
They've lost 2. They've already lost 2 games.
Yeah.
So I think the tiebreaker would go to them because they would have the head-to-head against us.
Yeah. Because
But
they
if
certainly
we
have.
win, then it's ours.
Yeah, and they got to beat the Patriots, obviously. I mean, they've got to win out and hope you lose 2 out of the last 3, including the game they play at the end of the season. So that could turn out to be something interesting. Chiefs, Jaguars, Browns. I mean, you talk about the Colts being a little bit of a
Joe
sneaky
Flacco, right?
team. Yes, dude.
Yeah, they were
Yes.
that bull.
Listen, he still makes the Joe Flacco mistakes. Like he had 3 interceptions in the last game, but he had 3 touchdown passes. And he makes throws, honestly, that more than half a league can't even still make. Like he does things that
Pick them up.
Jets should have gotten him.
We're not going to talk about New York Jets football anymore.
You really should have. I'm telling you right now.
No, we shouldn't have.
Joe Flacco is the reason why they're not in 5.
You know
right
what? It's the turf's fault. If the turf didn't happen in New York, in MetLife Stadium, it might be different. Aaron, I miss you.
now? Oh my
I
God.
love to see you on Pat McAfee. I love you.
The only thing-
And he also said he's going to play another possibly 2 to 3 years.
I don't doubt it. Again,
Listen, I'm with it.
you can do this as a quarterback in this league because you can't touch the quarterback. They can stand back in the pocket.
He can sling it. Just like you talking about Joe Flacco, right?
100%. Yes.
So I'm cool. I'm going to be back next year, possibly. I don't know.
possibly, maybe.
I might not watch football next year either.
Yeah.
It depends.
You've got a few teams on the bubble as well. The teams in the AFC that have been mathematically eliminated are the Patriots, are the Jets, and are the Titans.
Thanks for saying that.
Believe it or not, the Chargers still have an outside chance of getting in, as do the Raiders, the Broncos, Steelers. Broncos with a bad loss this past week after they had gone. What had they won? They had won
4 straight.
They had 4 straight, 5 of 6, something like that. Steelers, garbage. It's really, and the Texans, of course, have injury issues right now, so I can't count them in.
Don't disrespect the Steelers. They're starting Mason Rudolph this week.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Are they really?
Absolutely.
I did not know he was still there.
Me neither.
That's ridiculous.
He's racist, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my god.
I can't.
Okay.
Oh, I hate the Steelers.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
All right.
Mason Rudolph. How is he in the league still? We talk about backup quarterbacks. How is he still in the
Well, I
league?
mean, he's third string. I mean, a lot of third string guys just sit around and, they just sit around with their clipboard and try to help people out. I like a coach.
Next topic.
I just had a moment.
I saw it. That's okay. I saw it. I let it go, but you brought it up, so.
It's the holiday season. You got to get Mason Rudolph in there.
Oh, God.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I just saw the look on his face. I was like, yeah, here it comes. All right, moving into the NFC. And, let me start by saying this. Besides the number one team currently in the NFC, which is the San Francisco 49ers, who are sitting at 11-3 and first in the NFC West, I don't know that I look at the rest of the NFC as being much different than what we were just talking about in the AFC with uncertainty, right? We love the Lions and the story this year. If they end up winning 1 or 2 more games, they'll have won more games in a single season than they've done since 1960 something. I don't know the exact year. It's a great story. That bad loss they suffered a few weeks ago against Baltimore was telling a little bit to me that they never actually got it going at all during that game. I like them. I just don't know that they're there yet. I don't think that the Lions team that I'm looking at right now can beat San Francisco on both their best days. I think San Francisco is still the better team. But when you look at the rest of the NFC, because you've got San Francisco. The 2 seed currently are the Dallas Cowboys, who are 10-4 and first in the NFC East. You've got the Eagles, who are 10-4, second in the NFC East. Then you've got Lions, Bucks that are 7-7, first in the NFC South, which is the worst division in football. You have
disgusting.
the Vikings, who are 7-7, second in the NFC South, and you have the Rams, who are also currently sitting at 7-7 and second in the NFC West.
The Rams are underrated too.
Yes.
Under the radar.
Under the
I would
radar,
say
yes.
That's better.
100%.
They still have Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
The offense is turning around.
It's pretty good.
The defense is not, but they still have Aaron Donald. So
Still a pretty decent
and Aaron
defense.
Donald's
Not
still
great.
the best D tackle in football. So
He's very, very good. You've got the Seahawks that are on the bubble right now, 7-7, third in the NFC West. The Saints at 7-7. I don't really want to mention this team. The Falcons are 6-8. The Packers 6-8. Giants 5-9. Bears 5-9.
It's disgusting.
The 3 teams in the NFC who are mathematically eliminated are the Carolina Panthers, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Washington Commanders.
That's crazy.
So besides San Francisco, when you look at the last couple of weeks from what we've seen from the Dallas Cowboys, that really,
They had a hiccup though.
yeah, but that wasn't 26-24.
Yeah, but they just put
That
the
was- you just got
shellacking
your-
on Philly though, didn't they? That was their game though. That was the game where it's like, all right, what are you this year? First in division, they were going up for, and that was their game, and they put their foot in Philly's ass.
They did. The problem for Dallas is, and they said this before the game against Buffalo, is that Dallas is very, very good at home.
Not on the road. Absolutely.
Mediocre at best on the road.
Absolutely.
They go into Buffalo and get shellacked.
Absolutely.
31-10. Now, that's not a team, in my opinion, at this point in the season that loses a game that badly, who I have now the utmost confidence in can make a deep run in the playoffs. Now, I know last week I said something completely different, right? And Crispy crawled me on this a couple of days ago when we were talking about it because he's like,
drinking that Dak Kool-Aid.
I said Dak was going Dak.
Less about Dak and just more about the squad in general. I think this is probably the most complete Dallas Cowboys team we've seen in a while.
It's still soft though.
Fair enough, but we have weapons at just about every point, even on defense, right? You've got a couple of, even though they have a gunslinger mentality, so to speak, in the secondary, but they've got some guys that are difference makers that can turn a game really quickly, right? You've got a couple of guys on the defensive line who can turn the game really quickly. A quick fumble, return for touchdown, boom, game is completely flipped on its head. And then offensively, you've got a ton of weapons. And so I don't know what happened against Buffalo. I didn't get to see all of that game. Is it just because they're just not as good a road team as they are at home? And if they end up getting the majority of their games at home,
the only thing they're going to do is go see San Fran.
They have to just go see San Francisco. Now, that of course, that could prove to be problematic, but I think anybody going to see San Francisco is going to prove to be problematic at this point.
Absolutely.
But I still like the Dallas Cowboys. I just didn't like. I was really a little bit concerned. I mean, losing the game, one thing, but losing the game in the fashion in which they did at Buffalo bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, let's see how they travel this weekend.
Where they headed this weekend?
Goes to Miami. If they lose a one in Miami, then I think that's going to really start gathering some weight because we're not playing great. You know, it's possible that Tyreek's not going to play again, and they could mollywop us on our own field. So
which
this is a scary game for us.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not dead a heat summer, so it's only going to be like 85 to 90 instead of 110.
Yeah, let's just put them in the sun over there.
Yes,
But
it's not fair. It's not fair.
Defense wins championships. Offense is really starting to move that needle more neutral. I love San Francisco. They were in my Super Bowl prediction. So I don't know why I have this funny feeling that they're going to slip up, but I don't know. San Francisco, sometimes you get too hot too soon and everyone gets to talking, and sometimes you get in your own heads and you start sizing those rings a little too early.
But who's the slip up though? I think that's got to be part of the narrative, right? It could
be the NFC Championship game, which we won't know that until the playoffs are seeded. So
but if you're picking a team, right? If you're picking a team that San Francisco could potentially slip up against, because let's be real, right? It's not going to be the Bucks. It's not going to be the Vikings. It's not going to be the Rams.
Why not?
Why not? They played them well.
Why not?
Think.
They're just.
I don't think the Rams got blown out by them this year.
They're just not good enough, dude. Like that's just the bottom line. They're just not good enough.
I got my dark horse team over there is the Lions still.
But they're not really a dark horse team. They've won 10 games.
They're still dark horse. It's the Lions we're still talking about. It's not like we're talking about the Cowboys or the Eagles recently or.
There's a very just for argument's sakes, there's a small piece that I think that Philly can get this turned around in the time frame that they have left.
They got a lot.
They still got 10 wins. They got 10 wins already. So to your point with Detroit's got 10 wins. Philly's got 10 wins.
Yeah,
I think Philly's issues though are you got AJ Brown issues, not happy. The Jalen Hurts stuff is really weird. He's sick. Is he not sick? Is he sick? They got him doing a little fumble drills in practice. They're recording that. Like it's a little. The coach situation
getting that gut check right now, and they just got one.
Get punched in your face a couple times, right? Maybe they go through that with that San Fran thing, that stretch where they lost the 3 straight, and then they turn it around. But
like, whoa,
those comments coming out of that locker room is a little shaky to me.
Yeah, and Philly's lost to Seattle on Monday Night Football, inexcusable loss. Let's not kid ourselves here, because even if they're 100% healthy, even if Seattle has their starting quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles are winning a football game, not by a lot, mind you, which, okay, it's fine. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to blow out every team every single time you play them, but you're winning a football game and you allow a 92-yard drive by a forgotten quarterback, right?
Was it Gino played that game?
No, Locke played that
That
game.
was Drew Lock's game?
Yeah, that was Drew Locke's game.
Hey.
You allowed a 92-yard drive. They scored at the end, and they end up beating you. And Jalen Hurts, when you look, and this is my concern, is lately what we've seen from Jalen over the last, let's go back 4 or 5 weeks, when you've seen what, and you remember you made the comment about, is he sick? Is he not sick? One of the things that I've been hearing, of course, is the knee issue that he's been dealing with all year. Is that a legitimate
he hasn't
problem?
Been running as much. Yeah.
Right. Is that an actual problem?
That happened against the Dolphins game.
Right. Is that a legitimate reason why we're seeing some of the statistics for Jalen Hurts over the last several games be somewhat problematic? Because if that was against the Dolphins, now he turned right around at the Commanders and threw for 4 touchdowns and 319 yards.
Who was it against?
The Commanders.
There you go.
At the Commanders.
There you go.
He plays the Dallas Cowboys the week after that, 207, 2 touchdowns, decent QBR rating. And then we get into a little bit of a problem, right? We see the Chiefs game, no touchdowns, 1 interception. The Bills game, he goes for 200, completion percentage at 58%, 3 touchdowns and a pick. And then from there, it's 1 touchdown against the 49ers. It's no touchdowns against the Cowboys, and it's no touchdowns against the Seahawks and 2 interceptions. And so you're seeing him starting to trend downward the same way the team is, right? And so the way he goes is the way they go right now.
He's overrated.
Is he?
Said that. I said that start
But
the year.
They did win that Cowboys, Chiefs, and Bill game, though.
Right.
So even on his bad days, they were still able to win. And that's a tough little gauntlet that they are going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Then they finish with Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Giants are playing decent right now, but hey, they should be able to win those 3 games. They're going to get to what, 13 wins?
They got to balance these
And then
schedules
Dallas has to continue to win. So there's a possibility Philly could still be the number 2 seed here.
Yeah, there is. But I mean, is
I get the whole division game at the end of division games at the end of the year to spice it up, but in that case, we've been talking about a couple teams having front-loaded schedules, then back-loaded cakewalks, and it's just not good. It's like, even it out. Like, everybody should play a fair schedule across the board.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of times you don't know what you're up against until you're there.
I know any given Sunday, I get that.
Well, not only that,
and
but the Giants
especially
were coming off of a good season last season, so I don't know anybody would have predicted that they would be in the predicament that they are right now.
So don't schedule every single game the way they do. They flex games, move some games around. Hell, you got games, if we want to play Saturday and Sunday, which is good. Yeah. I like the Saturday, Sunday kind of Monday matchup. That's a weekend of football. We love weekends of football.
Yeah, 100%.
Get rid of the Thursday game. Give us a whole weekend of football and flex these games into proper time slots to make sure we go, I got to tune into that game and it's going to be worth it. These schedules at the end of the game. What was that? The 3-2, the 3-0 game. Who was that? Minnesota and whoever?
Who was that?
So is your problem with the time of day they're playing?
No, not just so much the time of day, just overall. It's the schedule too. Like, I don't want to see that in prime time. I don't want to see a 3-0 game at 4:25 on a Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, we have talked in the past about, and I know we've had these conversations just in passing, all of us when we're watching football about, we've seen the NFL flex Sunday night games typically, or Sunday games from like this time to this time, based on matchups and everything else. I've always been a bigger proponent of flexing even more than they do.
Yeah,
right? Flexing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This schedule towards the end of the year, you're going to give Philly a difficult schedule. We just ran down. They played this team, the Cowboys, twice in 4 weeks or whatever, a hot Buffalo team because they're hot now, but they were supposed to be good this year. You backload their schedule, but Philly had a cakewalk beginning to open the year. They played bad teams to open the year. They had the easiest strength of schedule to open the year.
Yeah, it was Patriots, Vikings, Bucks, Commanders.
I think some teams can flex a little bit more, but you take some of these stadiums, I mean, they have something going on every day. So changing it from a Saturday to a Sunday or to a Monday, I think that's the challenge that we come across. That's why we don't see as many as we may want.
No, you could be flexing more just on the Sunday specifically as well. Like, you maybe not be able to go from Saturday to Sunday, but like, because your prime time is essentially your 4 o'clock game, right? Your 4 and your 8 are your prime time
4:25
games.
yeah.
Because that's why your 1 o'clocks are so loaded, right? You have 2/3 of the league playing at 1 o'clock. So you can easily
You only got that handful playing from 4 to 8.
right.
One
You could,
8 o'clock
and
game.
then you got America's Game of the Week, blah blah blah. So you could flex them at least in the same day, probably a little bit easier than you would be able to flex from one day to the next, right? I mean, at least you probably wouldn't
Sure,
be
it doesn't
dealing with.
happen often,
Right.
But you could have a 1 o'clock game and then an 8:30 concert in that same stadium.
Yeah, that's you could, and you probably
Or
do from time to
flex it.
time, but yeah, shame on them at that point too. I mean, that's pushing the envelope. A
They
lot.
playing this out better than that, right? They know when hey, Beyonce is coming in town from this to this, so they'll block it off, right? Hey, we got this, the Staples. Well, it's not even Staples, it's crypto now, right? The crypto is blocked off. Billy Joel is coming to the Garden, so this is blocked off from this time. We know that
Right.
way ahead of time. Okay, cool. You playing this schedule out way in advance as well. There's a day for the NFL schedule release. Like they talk about it, they highlight it. But if I see me playing some weaker individuals, regardless of what their record is,
Yeah.
I know that team isn't what it's supposed to be. Towards the end of the year, now I'm playing these conference games, and what is your division is the worst division in football, right? Based
What?
off the schedule.
Oh, 100%.
The South, right?
Yeah. Garbage.
Do I want to see that right now, though?
No.
Somebody has to win the division. We get it.
Right. Yeah.
But do we want to see that right now?
No. Put that on Thursday night. Like put it on at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning or something. I mean, I don't care.
Make them go to London and play.
I mean, if
Like,
I've got to
put that
watch
on.
it, because I'm a fan, I can watch it. But I'm not trying to put that on everybody else. I don't want to see y'all have to go through that.
So move something around.
Nobody wants to watch that garbage.
Hey, we have a divisional game towards the end of the year, but we don't know who you're going to play.
Right.
Leave something open for speculation. Like, oh, I don't know who I need to plan for. Am I planning for this team? Am I planning for the run game? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
It would make it a little bit more spicy.
Spicy.
Most of the last week games are TBD, to be determined, so they don't have time frames on them yet. So we know who they're playing, just not what time yet.
And I think the NFL does, and that's to the point that the NFL is looking at a little bit more going flex heavy towards the end of the season for that very reason, because we want to keep it TBD right now, because if let's just say the Colts and the Falcons are supposed to be playing, if that game was in Indy, which it's not, it's in Atlanta. If that game was in Indy, it would more likely be a 4 o'clock game, right? And then in that particular case, they would go, no, we'll make that a 1, and then flex them out. And then, so you're going to see a little bit more flexing here towards the end of the season, and rightfully so.
They got to
Because
figure something out. It's getting boring.
Some of these matchups are not going to be very entertaining.
Not towards the end of this year.
Yeah, but this is, and I've said this all season long. This is
Wonkiest year.
the wonkiest year I have seen in a very, very long time. It's interesting. To Crispy's point earlier, we're seeing teams we haven't seen before, which is a nice change of pace. Albeit the football hasn't exactly been all that wonderful to watch. We are seeing some different teams. We're seeing the Browns now with an opportunity, right? We haven't seen this team really do much in recent years. Jaguars being in, they're slowly but surely becoming a little bit better of a football team. They've still got some work to do. They've still got things that they need to improve upon, but they're a better football team. We saw them, they were a playoff team last year, looking like an opportunity to be a playoff team this year, although they've been playing some ugly football of late, so they've got to certainly get some things done. But
Texans.
yeah, nice to see that. Colts,
Hell, the
right? We haven't
Titans,
seen
the
Colts
Titans
do
been
anything.
playing better. That
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
is not as bad as we thought it was going to
Yeah.
be initially.
Yeah, and the Colts, like you said, to your point, the Colts obviously with an opportunity here as well, because we didn't know what we were going to get for them at the beginning of the year with the Jonathan Taylor situation, with
Garden
quarterback,
issue, baby.
quarterback, like who's going to be the guy, whatever. So interesting, really, really interesting stuff. And then of course, you've got the Bills just hanging out there. I think that's a team that the rest of the AFC should be careful of. If they get in, could be dangerous.
Or they could choke, like they always do.
They could.
There you go.
They could. I think there's more of an opportunity for teams to choke than there are for teams that we feel will be confidently walking through the
I
playoffs.
agree.
Yeah, I think that's the case. You can say that about the Cowboys and what we've seen of them in recent memory. The Ravens we still have to wait and see what's going to happen there with the Dolphins with injuries. Is Tua the real deal? The Chiefs, the Jaguars, Browns. Who knows what's going to happen there? And then the Lions, question marks. Well, no, I don't know. It is going to be interesting to say the least. I don't know that it's going to be great football, but it will certainly be something to talk about.
Shouldn't this be the year that we just see like the most randomest Super Bowl, or like the Lions make the division, like the conference find the championship,
Yeah.
like, or the Texans go with the rookie quarterback, like that storyline would be a little bit better, right? And better for the NFL for
I've said this-
talking heads and
Yes,
things
I mean-
of that nature, right? It's a little bit better at least, but like,
But I don't want that in the Super Bowl. I don't want that in the Super Bowl, and here's why. Right? Because it's great and it's wonderful, and we talk about the fairy tale and we talk about the Cinderella story and everything else. Like we love that conversation. But at the end of the day, when we get to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to be as enthralled with and I'm going to just use this as an example.
yeah, just say the Rams, the Rams,
Colts.
I was going to
I
go with
might
the
be fine with that.
Browns and Lions. What about the Browns and Lions?
That's throwback, old school AFL. Like that would be a thing.
Look, the rest, there's a certain group of us that will easily still get together and watch this thing from start to finish.
Oh, it's gonna suck.
and be completely inundated with it, and we don't take any time off and we don't miss a play. Statistically speaking, monetarily speaking, ratings wise, it won't get the same numbers.
Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Hey, them Browns fans roll deep.
They do. And Detroit
And
will
they
travel right now because of this team.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying, maybe that's what we need. The NFL has been king forever. Maybe we need what are their ratings? Normally like a 20 million, 50 million view or whatever for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Maybe they need like a 10 million, like the MLB this year.
Right.
Nobody cared about it. Nobody watched it. Maybe that's what needs to happen for them to go, hey, maybe we need an in-season tournament like the NBA. Hey, maybe we need to change or flex something like, I'm just saying, something to push it forward. We can't keep seeing the same thing. And they've been number one for so long. It's only so long that that's going to keep happening. They need something different. The dynasty is over, right? The Patriots are done. We know that. So you can't bank on that. It looks like the Chiefs are heading to that same situation, even though they still have Mahomes.
Yeah.
It looks like they're on the decline. There's no front-running team that they can stake that, hey, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. We know that, right? Maybe that's what they might need. The Cowboys to come back from that 90s curse of whatever they haven't been there.
I will tell you this: if the Cowboys make the Super Bowl this year, it will be
The NFL will love it.
it will be the most watched Super Bowl in recent memory.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's just
We need to see
how it
something
plays
different, though. What I'm saying, we need to
Yeah.
see something different.
out. Yeah,
Whether one, it hits them in the pockets in the ratings,
right.
or two, we need to see one of these old franchises come back to glory to get us back into it, because this year it hasn't been it. While it's still football,
Like
it hasn't
Miami
been it.
Dolphins.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say that, but
I tell you this right now: if you had Cowboys Dolphins Super Bowl, everybody would watch that. I think,
course.
I'm buying tickets.
I would agree on that.
yeah, I think you would have more viewership for Cowboys Dolphins than you would Cowboys Ravens. I think you'd have more viewership for Cowboys Dolphins than you would anybody else in the AFC right now.
And they're talking, what people are saying is Ravens, Niners, right? Possible Super Bowl, but nobody wants to see that. Nobody wanted to see that when it happened.
It was a good Super Bowl, though. Well,
Blackout, Beyonce. I heard your story behind the scenes.
yeah, I heard it was a good Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. But all that aside, right?
It was in New Orleans.
It wasn't the best game. I don't care where it came down to. It wasn't the best game. Just like that New England Rams one wasn't the best
Oh, that
game.
was a terrible game.
And they never gave Todd Gurley the ball, which was baffling to me, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, okay.
And he's way younger than Raheem Mostert, and he got 20-something touchdowns this year, but that's nothing.
32, is that right?
That's right.
I saw the ages.
Right.
Todd Gurley is only 29 years old. Not even. I think he's 28.
Yeah, but he's had horrible knees since he was in college.
And most of that horrible knees, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
20 touchdowns. You got the same amount as McCaffrey.
Oh,
They said that he's trying to switch it, but that's not. That's just because the Dolphins have a high potent offense. He's switching the narrative of you can pay a 30-something-year-old running back, or he can be the go-to guy,
Right.
like as the running back, right?
He's fresh. Like, he wasn't ran like some of these other running backs. Like, he was sparingly used, came in and when some people were injured. So I think we're getting the best of Mostert as you can get right now.
Well, which is why NFL teams have to be careful if it's not Miami and it's somebody else to overpay for him moving forward. Because once you start,
he ain't going nowhere.
yeah. Oh, he's not. He's not going anywhere.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, GM. My bad. I didn't.
Mostert ain't going nowhere.
You know the Dolphins have like a bunch of like owners. Like he might be a minority owner.
He might be.
He might have
That's right.
0.000000001%.
I got jerseys. I got hats. I got memorabilia. I mean, you name it. I've got it. Does that count?
That counts for something.
Counts for something. So I don't know. Bottom line is who the contenders, who are the pretenders. I have no freaking idea.
Bottom line is football sucks.
It depends on who you're a fan of.
Football's great. I love it. I've loved every bit of this football season. I really have. I've really enjoyed it.
You've loved every minute of it? Wow.
Every bit of it. I like the Thursday night games. It's football. There's going to be a time when we don't get to watch this game anymore, and we're going to miss it.
But this is not.
It may not be the same game in a few years.
That's what I'm saying. And this wasn't in the topics at all. But
Right.
what about the hit? The Steelers kid on Michael Pittman Jr. And Brady ripped him. Like, hey, you shouldn't suspend him for the rest of the year for a clean hit. Yada yada yada. Like it's football.
Yeah.
But we already talked about the returns and the kickoffs going out the back of the end zone. And
Didn't Micah Parsons make a comment recently, too, that like in the next 5-10 years, this game might be unwatchable?
it's going to be flagged.
It's going to be flag football eventually. I don't think it's going to get that extreme, but the way that the rules are moving, it gets everybody a little bit excited.
And that's why I'm saying they got to change something. Something has to change. We can't just keep
What if
looking
we
at
take
football.
one extra player off the field? What's that do?
I had this crazy idea when I was woke up this morning. I was like, if the game right now is in favor of offenses, which we know that it is, based on the rules and everything else, would it be advantageous to have only 10 players on offense versus 11 players on defense? What do you think about something
what
like
if
that?
they just what if they just get to the 7-on-7s? That's what they mainly do anyways.
I wouldn't mind that. Would not even if they do a 9-on-9 with like 2 rushers, right? You have your 7 speed players or safe players or whatever you want to call them.
Is that something like maybe you could do, maybe not the whole game, but you do it like in a situation where you
In
get down
overtime
to
or
like
something.
an overtime or the last
Something.
2 minutes? Like, don't they do that in hockey when it gets to like the
Hockey, yeah, they take down an extra player.
they take down an
Something.
extra player and like so
5,
if it
6.
maybe inside the last 2 minutes or if it goes to overtime, then you bring on a 7-on-7 situation.
Something has to change in NFL. It is getting.
It's getting
It
stagnant.
happened with baseball.
Yeah.
It's happening with basketball, which is why they spicing it up.
And baseball spiced it up.
They
have the pitch count now. Like
they changed the
clock.
All-Star game. They changed the pitch clock. They changed the rules. They made the bases bigger. Like they periodically doing little things over there. It's just they got to put the juice back in the ball.
I remember when they changed the All-Star game. Do you remember when that
I
happened?
do remember,
And
and it was
everybody
something to play for.
hated it.
But the players loved it.
And I love it. I've loved it since day one.
The players loved it.
Yep.
We got home field advantage.
Yep.
We get an extra game just in case. And
The only reason why it pissed me off for so long is because the freaking American League was
Yeah,
winning
it was
every
winning
single
every
one.
year.
And I was like, you suck. This rule sucks.
But it was
no,
better.
It is. It's better. It's something to play for.
yeah, man.
Giving people a
You
reason to
go
watch
out,
the
be
All-Star
the
game.
best team in all of baseball and lose in the first round.
Ooh.
Is it really necessary?
You want to talk baseball then?
I don't want to talk about
No.
baseball.
You might as well just
You
go
talk
right to
about
baseball.
not one-
No, I want to get into this. This is the list I wanted to come. This is the list I have compiled for you.
Are we talking about this quarterback thing?
No, we're talking about coaches that coach firings that would kickstart much needed change for 5 teams.
They better
Can
not
we
put
guess who
Tomlin
number
on that
one is?
list. It
You ready?
can't be.
You ready?
Tomlin
Can we
should
guess
be
who
on this
number
list.
one is?
Do what?
Should we guess, or you're just going to tell us?
Spell a check.
He's not on this list.
That's insane.
All right, you
He
ready?
shouldn't be.
All right. Matt Eberflus from the Chicago Bears.
Who?
Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Saberfluss. I don't know. What
He gets
the hell
one more year.
All right. I don't have my freaking glasses on. This is killing me right now.
Just go through the list. You don't have to read why.
There was just a couple of points on here that I wanted to talk about. Hasn't been the right man for the job. Only won 8 of 31 games since taking over the start of 2022. We haven't seen Justin Fields make the leap in his 3rd season. Struggled with injuries, but accuracy woes, just 3-7 in his last 10 starts this season. Failing to properly develop him isn't the only problem. Decision-making, highly questionable. We've seen that several times. I've watched a few of those games where that's happened. Full display on against the Browns over this past weekend. 10-point lead in the 3rd quarter, but they couldn't convert on a pair of 4th down opportunities. So bad decision-making. That's one of them. Ron Rivera, Washington Commanders, is the next one.
He's gone.
Personally, I think Ron Rivera is probably going to walk before they even fire him anyway. But
no, they're not going to fire him. That's a mutual.
They're going to mutually part ways.
I mean, I think that has actually come out that he will.
By enemies, they're coaching waiting, ain't he? He's got to be.
I would say so, but the enemy hasn't.
He's blackballed.
Whenever he kept trying to get coaching jobs before, there were 2 things that were said about him, and when nobody knows the truth, nobody knows anything definitively. So we're guess what we want to guess or say what we want to say. 2 things were said. It was either one of 2 things. Either he had too big of an ego when he was in his interviews, or people thought he was just downright stupid. Like I've
heard those.
I've heard both of those things, and you can. I've never even really heard the man talk before, so I'm not making any kind of assumption, anything. Obviously, being with Andy Reid for a long time, he's the beneficiary of that, but I'm sure that a lot of the play calling was probably his. They don't have a real problem on offense in Washington. That's not their problem.
They don't.
They got rid of all their defensive players.
That's the problem.
I know.
That is a problem.
I think they felt like they wanted to be able to do that in order to get some stuff in return because they didn't feel like they were necessarily going anywhere. Is Bieniemy the obvious choice? Sure. Will he still have to interview? Probably.
Why? You just fire Rivera because he doesn't have any stake in Washington.
Right.
Like he did in Carolina, taking them to the Super Bowl and all of that.
Right.
Just get rid of him with a game or 2 left and make Bieniemy interim. And then just take the tag off after you do your due diligence of your fake Rooney rule or whatever, supposedly trying to take your interviews. You know how that goes. That's sham. And then just give him the job.
Yeah.
We got 3 games. Let these guys finish out the season.
Rivera has mailed it in.
Yeah, I think he's done there. Sam Howell has had a pretty good season.
Not bad numbers.
They've got, obviously, guys still like Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne that are still there, but they've got some work to do with the roster. Howell's had some bright moments. This is the part of this article I don't agree with. It says he's benched for Jacoby Brissett during Sunday's blowout defeat to the Rams and may not be the long-term answer under center. I disagree with that. I don't see any reason why he still can't be the guy, considering the type of numbers that he's put up this season. But right now, it's looking like Ron Rivera will probably be out. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind at this point. These last 3, I'll start with this one first. Arthur Smith in Atlanta. I think the problem for this team right now is the fact that they went 7-10 with absolutely no money in his first 2 seasons, which you're going to give him a pass, right? They had all this dead money. It wasn't like they could go out and do much to bring in a whole bunch of talent to help him out. And so it was like, all right, cool. Well, once that dead money was off the books, now we're going to go out there and we're going to spend some money. And the spending that they made specifically on defense worked. Like, this is a top 10 defense statistically. You got Jesse Bates. You got Onyemata. It's unfortunate that Grady Jarrett goes down, but they've still played well. Offensively, you've gotten top 10 picks the last 3 drafts. And in this last game against the Carolina Panthers, they all had, I think, 13 touches for a grand total of 75 yards and no touchdowns. You're not utilizing your offensive weapons the way you should. These guys are ridiculously talented.
Can I tell you why?
Because we have a crappy quarterback.
There you go.
Understood. But if they end up if they have the same record this year that they had the 2 years prior,
you gotta.
I don't know how he survives. Is it the best move? I don't know.
Probably
But
not for a young core like that. No.
No, and apparently all the players are coming to his defense. 100% of them, because usually players are no longer afraid to come out and say there's a problem in the locker room, that there's a problem with the coach, that I'm not getting the ball, that this is happening, that that's happening. They're all, every single one of them apparently coming out and being like, we just got to play better. Arthur Smith is not the problem. None of them are saying that Ritter's crap.
They should.
But they're not. What's that?
You need to bring the hype train. You need to go get Justin Fields and bring Deion Sanders back to ATL.
He said he's never coaching in the pros.
Yeah.
They need Jim Harbaugh.
Sauce it up. Get it spicy down there in the ATL.
I don't know about Justin Fields, man.
You need Jim Harbaugh.
I'm torn with the Justin Fields thing.
Love it. Man.
Would he work in that offense? Probably.
If Arthur Smith stays and Justin Fields, let's go.
I mean, Heineke's already starting again this week.
Should have started him all year.
Ritter got benched. Yeah, but even when Heineke came in, he didn't play all that well.
But he came in. It's the difference between what you sent earlier, being a backup quarterback, and actually having the reins. Start the year.
Yeah. Backup quarterbacks come in and play well, and he hasn't.
Yeah, in spots.
Right.
Not like if they gave Drew Lock the keys and he had a Geno season from a couple years ago where Geno got paid, right?
Yeah.
Then we go, maybe let me see what he can do next year. And Geno has regressed to me, but neither here nor
Drew
there.
played with house money last night.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? So he's playing with nothing to lose. But if you gave Heineke the keys initially to start the year, hey, let Ritter sit, see some stuff. Heineke showed some flashes out there in Washington. It might be different right now. I don't know.
I know I'm not a fan of firing coaches in season, but Arthur Smith would have gotten some papers yesterday. That's a bad loss, bro.
You can't lose that game.
Bad loss.
What they lost to again?
Tickets were 50 cents. That's the other embarrassing piece. It was a 50-cent game.
Not even 50 cents. It was like 43 cents.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let's move on. Listen, I don't look, man. It sucked. Trust me, it's terrible.
You should have went to the game if it was 43 cents.
If I'd have gone to that game and they had lost the way they,
you could have bought the whole entire top row because it was empty.
You're right.
Hey, remember that game we went to and the Falcons were just molly-whopping Carolina? We started at the top of the stadium
and we
finished our way at the
all the way
bottom
at the
of the
bottom.
stadium.
That state closed out.
You could have did that for 43 cents.
I could have done that the whole game because there wasn't anybody there. Atlanta went on to win that game 41-0. That was a good day.
Oh yeah. Not yesterday though.
No, definitely not yesterday.
Excuse me, not yesterday. The day before yesterday. I
don't
even know what day it is anymore. Football
together.
sucks.
Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers.
See, and that's bull. I'm not going to allow that. I don't love the Steelers at all.
Mike Tomlin's 17th season has it been 17 years already? God, it feels like yesterday the man got hired. I swear
Omar
to God.
Epps. He looks like Omar Epps.
He does.
Keep going.
He does.
He looks like a family relative of ours.
They're 500 with three. What?
He looks like a family member.
Oh, he does. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll have to show him to you.
Does he look like Omar Epps too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Omar Epps is from Brooklyn.
Just a heavier version.
Let y'all know that.
Let me see. It's probable he's going to finally suffer his first losing season since taking the reins in 2007.
So that's the reason to fire him.
Pittsburgh suffered. Do you want me to finish?
I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh suffered its third consecutive loss and fourth defeat in 5 games in ugly fashion on Saturday. Dismantled by a depleted Indianapolis Colts squad in a 30-13 loss, a defeat punctuated by several confounding calls from Tomlin. I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to imagine Mike Tomlin getting fired. It feels like he's the kind of guy that could be that coach for as long as he wants to be the coach. But they have that. This is a team that has regressed over the last several seasons as well. It's like they haven't been able to rebound from the Roethlisberger
there you go
era.
That's
right?
But that was the problem. They held on too long
to Roethlisberger.
Absolutely
right.
They should have moved on earlier.
But how much of that also we don't know how much of that actually falls on him. Like where's the decision making there, right?
And that loyalty is what I don't like Pittsburgh, the team and the fan base. Their fan base is disgusting. But when you look at Pittsburgh, there's a reason that they're always in the division talk. They're always in the playoffs is because they don't have turnover. 3 coaches in 30, 40 years or something there.
Yeah.
There's a reason, though. It's because of the consistency. Even with bad players or older players, he still coaches his ass off and takes the team to the playoffs or has them in the division. And nobody ever says anything bad about Mike Tomlin. He's probably too over loyal. Kept Matt Canada too long that he should have probably fired him, right? They got rid of, was it Arians that was there or whoever was there before him? They got rid of him too early.
Yeah. No.
It was whoever that Ben had problems with and everything.
Yeah.
But that's their problem. Is they complain about the coordinators. They don't look at the sideline and see that Tomlin whipped this person into shape, whipped that person into shape. George Pickens looks like he don't even want to be there.
Right. But he can't get through to him either. I mean, all I'm saying is it maybe the voice is lost in the locker room. Maybe it's no longer the same voice it was before. Maybe guys aren't willing to run through a wall for him like they were before.
Or maybe they're just making bad picks.
It could be, but again, how much of that also falls on him as well? I mean, that's part we don't know. Like we never get the full story on how much a head coach has to say with the draft pick. We don't know how much the head coach or how much influence they have over free agency, right? Some coaches have absolutely none whatsoever, which isn't necessarily the wisest move considering a lot of your head coaches are either the offensive or defensive coordinator or they are an offensive defensive mind, right? So it's just going to depend. And if Tomlin is more of a defensive-minded guy, he may not necessarily be making all the decisions on the offensive side of the ball, which, quite honestly, is where a lot of their problems stem, right?
They don't got no damn quarterback.
And
I think he's lost the identity. They used to be that fearless defense. I mean,
And
you
run
went
the
into
damn ball.
you went into Pittsburgh. It was a tough place to play. I mean, it's still okay, but it's not as feared as it once was.
yeah, and
They too cutesy with the ball, man. They just want to throw the ball over the place, and I know that's what the NFL is going with. But
I think Najee's been a big letdown for them. I think they had. I think they thought they had their next bell cow. Maybe I don't know. He's not really a Le'Veon Bell, but kinda.
I mean, he's a big dude. I mean,
a letdown.
I think part of the letdown is on him, but I think part of the letdown too is the fact the offensive line simply doesn't block well enough.
There you go.
And there have been multiple instances where you knew where Najee was supposed to be going, right? You could tell by the way the offensive line set up. You could tell that he was running this way or that way. And more times than not, when I've watched him play, especially his first couple seasons, it's like that dude's fighting to find a space to run through.
He's not an east-west back. He's a north-south back because he's so. Derrick Henry doesn't make cuts in the back. He's not Barry Sanders.
Right.
Derrick Henry runs straight. He runs you over, and he's hitting that hole, and he's gone.
And Najee Harris,
and that's what Najee Harris is.
Right. He's a
but
big
they
dude.
don't do that. It's a lot of screens out there still, and it's a lot of quick passes and getting him
stretch plays. They try to run stretch plays with Najee Harris.
No, they think the Warren kid is better, and I don't think he's a better running back than Najee Harris. That's another
He just
thing.
be better fit for what they're trying to do
right now. Absolutely, but you'll have Pittsburgh fans that says, "Oh, Warren's the key, and this person's the key." You need a damn quarterback over
I
there.
would take Najee Harris in a heartbeat.
Give me him right now.
I think he could do a really good job with a lot of NFL teams. I don't think they've done a very good job of blocking either in the running game or the passing game.
He'll be good in Buffalo
He's got a
right
problem,
now.
coughing the ball up too.
Yeah, that's and I get that. Yeah,
right. He'll be good in Buffalo right now.
Oh God, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Last one is your boy. I'm not even going to read the rest of the article.
Who? Salah?
Salah?
Which I think is extremely premature.
I think he gets a pass because of the Aaron thing.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
They still love him.
Yeah.
He doesn't say bad things in the media.
Right.
As you can see, he's great on TV from Hard Knocks and everything.
Yeah.
It's not on Douglas either. He's revamped the. We have a roster. Don't get me wrong. It's just a lot of things didn't break for us this year.
I think a couple of quick points. 16 and 32 since taking the reins. Obviously, he's obviously part of a team that's gone 13 straight campaigns without a postseason berth.
Thanks for putting that in there.
Plenty of New York's trouble stem from the unfortunate, unpredictable events, specifically Aaron Rodgers. But it also says that Salah has mismanaged controllable aspects, continually sticking with Zach Wilson as a starting quarterback despite his well-documented struggles. Development of young stars like Garrett Wilson is being squandered. The defense, which ranked in the top 5 last year, has regressed to a much more average unit.
This article is terrible.
Wholesale changes needed for the Jets to reverse course. So,
This
You
article
have
was
Aaron
terrible.
Rodgers with Garrett Wilson this year.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson, right?
Well, it's a playoff team.
Scary.
He still almost got 80 catches this
sure.
year. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is healthy all year long. This is a playoff team. I don't know how many wins. They're probably not the best team, but I think they're probably right now, like, and
maybe 10 wins.
I'm thinking 9.
Quite possibly.
9 was my
9,
number
10
like
wins.
right now.
Absolutely.
For this team. I think the offensive line would have gotten better as the season went along because Aaron Rodgers is going to be consistently sticking his foot in their ass if they're not blocking properly. And you block for a guy like that because you respect the hell out of him,
What
right?
on that list, what is the key factor of each of those teams? Quarterback.
100%. Every single one.
There you go.
But herein lies the problem. Much like the article about backup quarterbacks being an absolute key this season, is you're not getting great starting quarterback play across the board.
Absolutely.
You don't have this plethora of great quarterbacks.
You don't got
You
the
think about all the teams.
you don't got the Manning, Brady,
You don't.
Rivers, all of those
Yeah.
kind of class of Breeze.
You don't.
Throwing them all in.
Yeah,
you
we
don't
just
have that
got done
anymore.
being spoiled for 20 years.
We
That's what
have
just
been
happened.
spoiled for a long
We
time.
were spoiled
Yep.
for 20 years.
I mean, because if you look, you go back a little bit further with a couple of guys that retired right around or maybe a little bit before that. So we talked about Ben Roethlisberger. We had Matt Ryan playing
He was in
extremely
there.
high level football for a long time. I mean, it went on and on and on. I mean, there were
Mike Vick.
10 at worst to 15 very, very
Really
good,
good quarterbacks.
starting quarterbacks
Absolutely.
right now. In this league currently,
Dante Culpepper.
Currently,
Where the hell that come
I have
from?
no idea. But right now, who do you pinpoint as
Mahomes. Obviously, they say Lamar Jackson. And in my opinion, he's not
Right.
the quarterback. But
I'm
that's different.
taking Lamar right now.
We'll go
Okay.
Mahomes,
Lamar,
Allen, Lamar, right? Burrow, but he's hurt.
right?
If you put two
Dak.
in there,
Okay.
that is probably about it. I mean, I love Justin Herbert,
Dak.
but he's not there yet. Dak is like mid-tier all the time. Jalen Hurts is overrated. And Trevor Lawrence is still young.
Yep. They haven't taken.
Everybody else is backups. Minshew. CJ Stroud is really, really young. Aaron Rodgers is on the way out. We don't know what Tua is yet, right? As far as big games,
Yep.
because he hasn't been there yet.
Yep. The Browns made a $230 million mistake.
Deshaun Watson hasn't played.
The Texans right now,
Raiders don't have a quarterback.
nope.
The
Steelers don't have a quarterback.
The Saints don't have a quarterback.
Nope. Patriots don't have a quarterback.
The Bucks don't have a quarterback.
Jets, because of Aaron Rodgers, don't have a
Hey.
quarterback. Titans
Baker
don't have a
Mayfield's
quarterback.
making some money right now.
Titans don't have a quarterback yet. We think Will Levis may be the guy, but we don't know, right? Commanders, we don't know.
Same thing.
Cardinals, probably not. Panthers, way too early to tell. Bears, no. Giants, no.
There you go.
Packers,
Keep
we're
on.
still waiting to see. Falcons, no. Saints, no.
Minnesota.
Seahawks, no.
Cousins is hurt.
Right.
Cousins would be up there if you say that.
Rams,
But Stafford's towards the
Stafford's,
end.
he's about to call it a day. Buccaneers, no. Lions, Goff is that in that same mid tier, hasn't taken the next step. You have elite. Now name me any of those that are actually elite quarterbacks.
Patrick Mahomes.
Done. That's it.
That's it.
Lamar Jackson.
No, he's not an elite quarterback.
It's not.
No. He's not in the same category as Patrick Mahomes. If you put Patrick Mahomes here, he's not in the same category.
If you put Lamar up there, then you got to put Goff up there. The reason being is Goff, I don't care, went to a Super Bowl. Has playoff experience.
I'm just going off of like elite playing on the field. He is one of the most athletic players that we have that steps on an NFL football field. He can sling the rock. He's not the most accurate, but he can sling the rock, and he is something to watch when he gets in that open field. So that's why I put him in that category.
I can't put him on the same. I don't know
chokes
how
him
you
big.
do. I can't put him in the same I can't put him in the same level with Patrick Mahomes.
He's
man. I don't know how. I don't
He's
know
either
how.
not
I don't know how we
healthy
do that.
or he chokes in big games too. So that's another thing.
I mean, it's you can even take that out of the equation. If you just talk about simple play across the board, you talk about the successes, you talk about the things that they've accomplished.
Josh Allen chokes too. So
I think it's Mahomes and then it's everybody else.
That's it.
Yeah. And that just goes back to our point about how we had at least 5 elites and 10 really, really good quarterbacks and 15 very good playing quarterbacks for 20 years.
We forget about Eli Manning, and he's not the greatest, right? But
come playoff time, right? I mean, we were so spoiled for so long. Where are those days?
We don't get it anymore.
No, we don't have that quarterback play anymore. That's why we keep praying that Aaron Rodgers is going to keep playing.
Absolutely.
Play for another
Give
3
us
more
another
years.
5 years.
Give
hopefully.
Give me something. All right. Well, we've only got a few minutes left because I was thinking that this was what was going to happen today. That we were going to talk about this a lot with these teams and the quarterback play or the lack thereof, and coaches, who's going to get fired at the end of the year, who's not. I don't know. I will just say this about my squad right here at the end. If they don't win. How many games are there left? 3. And they are 6-8 right now. Oh my God, man! If they don't, oh no, I think Arthur Smith's going to get fired at the end of the year. They were 7-10 in the 2 seasons with no money and no talent on that football team, and they went. Oh, geez, Louise, I'm sorry, Arthur. They have to win out for him to keep his job. I think
Colts, Bears, and Saints. Those are your last 3 games.
I mean, they're not going to beat the Colts. They can beat the Bears, but the Bears and Saints games are both on the road.
And might not beat the Saints.
Oh, there's a very good chance they won't beat the Saints.
While the Saints suck,
they're not very good.
But
it's also going to be in New Orleans, and those 2 teams hate each other, and everybody will show up for that game.
They love playing in New Orleans. Yeah.
They will show up for that game. So I don't think Arthur Smith's going to make it through, because Arthur Blank made the comment that unless there was a complete meltdown at the end of the year, or unless they completely fall apart, his job should be fine. Looking like things are falling apart. You can't lose to Carolina and then probably lose at least 2 out of your last 3 games and expect to keep your job. I just don't see it happening. But then the question always comes up: who are you going to replace him with next year?
Mike Tomlin, if he gets fired.
Ooh,
which he shouldn't. But
I'll take Mike
absolutely.
Tomlin in Atlanta.
Bill Belichick, because he should be on that list.
They may not have put him on that list because the reports are he's not going to be the head coach next year anyway. But
they said, I've seen a rumor that he might go to San Diego. Well, excuse me, they're not San Diego, but know them.
Yeah, the Chargers.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Interesting. All right, so we didn't get through a whole hell of a lot today, but we certainly had some lively conversation. It was good stuff.
I wanted to do the all-22 team, the blacks versus whites.
We'll save that. We'll save that for next week.
Blacks versus whites.
I do.
Real thing.
Yes, you gotta. It's in the. See, he ain't checked the chat today.
No, I saw it. That's just ridiculous to me.
Rashawn Mendenhall did it, not me. I ain't do it.
I know.
Well, and then
that's absolutely ridiculous.
And
it's fun.
But I will say, I'll give Pat McAfee credit is that he tried to take that
and spin it
and have fun with it.
Yes,
is what he tried to do, because there was reference to.
The Chappelle Show,
racial draft, which is one of the greatest skits of all time. Number 1
for shizzle.
I've always wanted to say that. For shizzle. And the blacks are trading for Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, it's one of the great skits of all time. At least Pat McAfee turned something that was rather ridiculous into something fun. Rashard Mendenhall hasn't been on anybody's radar in a decade, so he just apparently was missing his 15 minutes of fame.
Concussion protocol.
Still, he's been on concussion protocol for a decade.
Him and Antonio Brown.
Oh, good Lord. 2 peas in a pod. All right, so let's get to this, because this is our Christmas edition. We've only got a few days left until, again, as I mentioned before, the fat man's coming down your chimney. So we're going to do our top 5 Christmas movies. Top 5 Christmas movies. And we're starting with you, as we usually do, and you start with number 5, and you work your way up to number 1.
I don't like the way you did that.
What? How did I do it?
We're starting with you. Don't be. First of all, don't stare at me without your glasses, because you can't see me.
It's just
And
a
he had a
blur.
little head shake in there.
Right,
He had a little head nod.
with you, and we're starting for 5. All right, I was gonna ask where I was starting again.
So I'm wrong for getting ahead of it?
I want to see your all 22 team.
Which one? The whites or the blacks? I could come up with a pretty good team.
You gotta text that to me. That's gonna be funny.
I'm gonna save it for next week. I'm gonna put together a list.
Yep. That's no top 5. All 22 team.
All
next
22
week.
team next week.
The number 5 Grinch.
Okay. Which one?
I like them all. I'm being real with you, but the Jim Carrey one, obviously.
Okay. All right.
Jim Carrey killed it. I like the animated.
The
one
animated
that came
one
out
was good.
recently. I like that one.
It was good. I was one of those that was doing the whole. I'm not watching the animated one.
stop touching it.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing compares to this one. But I
Yep.
watched it. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Illumination did it. They do a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Minions and all that.
They do.
Yeah.
Number 4,
Number 4.
National Lampoon,
Okay.
Christmas Vacation.
Yep. Okay.
That's one of them that should be on everybody's list. That's what I believe. It's up there,
100%.
right?
Yep.
Number 3, Friday After Next.
Okay.
It is a Christmas movie. You can't dispute it.
Okay.
Christmas all through.
I'm not going to try to dispute it.
Hilarious.
Okay.
And you took a shot at it earlier, but it's
still
okay.
not the original. So
What?
it's not as
the
funny as
original Friday. Absolutely not.
Thank
but
you.
it's better than 2.
What is?
Friday After Next is better
Yeah,
than
I don't
next
disagree
Friday.
with you, but the people have tried to convince me in the past that the other Friday movies were funnier than the original, and
No. Nothing tops the
I
first
want to
one.
punch them in the face every time I hear that argument.
Violence.
Yes,
During the holidays.
I choose violence when it comes to that conversation.
It's because you're blind. Number 2,
I'm colorblind.
Elf.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. I know some people have got that number 1 on their list.
Will
but yeah.
Ferrell's best movie to me.
I mean, he's also got 2. He's got 2 of your top 5, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Number 1 is Home Alone. I put both of them together.
Oh.
Oh,
I
Home
don't
Alone movies?
separate them. Yeah, this
Okay.
is 1 and 2 that's just Home Alone. Like,
Okay.
first of all, they're the worst parents ever. You can't keep leaving your kid. That's neither here. I could give you a whole 70 minutes about how disgusting they were to Kevin. They did my man dirty. You know what? Y'all nasty parents. Kevin! Yeah, you...
We watched number 2 the other day, and we
Again.
literally paused it and stopped, and we looked at each other in the room and said that exact like, how horrible are these people? Like you stop for a second, so you watch the first one, haha, it's the first one. Then they go to the second one, I'm like, you did it again. You did it twice.
I seen a breakdown of it. Why you didn't give him the batteries earlier? Why he's up in the attic all the damn time?
Right. You got a kid who wets the bed all the time. He gets to sleep on a king size by himself when everybody else has to sleep on the floor. But yet,
Look at the
Kevin's got
little
to
nerd.
go to the attic.
How much money? What did the dad do to have all this goddamn money?
That's
to keep
what I
paying
wanna
for all
know.
these tickets to
Yep.
take these kids out of the country
And the house.
the whole family.
a
The
freaking
house is
mansion.
amazing.
Right.
Right. The parents are terrible. The little scene in the office, the police office, where they're like, "Funny story. Hey, this is a tradition." That's not funny.
It's right. It's not.
I'd have smacked
They made
him
it
if I was
funny,
the cop.
but yeah, it's not funny.
It's terrible.
Yeah. It's good top 5. I like
Shout
it.
out my man Kevin, man. They did you wrong, dog.
It's
That was a nice list.
Thank you.
Fictional proud of you.
but that's cool. Yeah, go for it.
Nah, they did my man dirty.
So real quick, I just want to breaking news. Memphis just won that game from being 22 points down. Ja Morant, game winner, most points from a person coming back from a 25-game season.
Hold on, time out. He played today?
Yeah, he scored It was either 32 or 37 points he just scored, and he scored the winning bucket.
I thought they weren't. Neither here nor there. The NBA needs players and stars, so I get why they put him. I thought he was. Has it been 25 games?
Yeah.
But I thought because of the trial and everything. It's neither here nor. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was playing that.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Number 5 for me is Home Alone.
Okay.
I went with Home Alone because it was the first one. I do like the second one a good bit as well. It just seems like there's more action, but the flip side to it, it's a lot of the same things that he did in number 1, just in the variation. So that's why it's a little knocked down from the first one.
But the
Number 4.
the criminals in number 2 got their asses kicked significantly worse in the second one than they did in the first one.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I kept watching it going dead because I haven't seen the second one in years. Like I watched the first one every year. I hadn't seen the second one in 10 years, and we watched it the other day, and I was like, "Damn, these guys should be dead."
When he fell through the roof,
Right?
without-
Oh my
How's
god!
he even walking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Number 4 for me is Rudolph, the claymation version
Okay.
from 1954. I think it is. That's one of my go-tos.
All right.
Number 3 for me is Elf. That one has over the years steadily climbed my list. That's a really, really good movie. I hate that I didn't watch it for many, many years.
You did not. I
think-
had that conversation.
I think
for a long
everybody
time.
did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
like,
it-
oh, this is cheesy.
That's also atypical with me for a lot of years when it came to Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Was what I didn't watch them, or I watched the first time and was like,
I did
and then
that.
the more you watch it, the funnier it gets.
I did that with Talladega Nights. I never watched Ricky
100%.
Bobby.
100%. I watched Talladega Night the first time and I was like, and now it's hilarious.
Can't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Number 2.
Do you put Home Alone 1 and 2 together, or do you separate them?
Yeah, because typically when I watch them, I do watch 1 then 2.
All right, cool.
So it's kind of like a combo deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Christmas Story.
Okay.
On Christmas Day, that's the first movie that we traditionally watch. So
I usually turn on TNT and just let it just play on a loop. Just play on a loop all day long.
It's like it lives
I don't
on
like
TNT.
the commercial. I don't like the commercials, so that's why I just play the movie. And then number 1 is Christmas Vacation.
Okay.
Hands down. Question. I've watched it a million times.
Yeah. Probably quote the whole thing.
I like his list.
Pretty close.
I think, I mean, you finish your list first. I think Christmas Story is overrated. To me personally. I know it's up there because it's historic.
It's a classic.
Like the Rudolph movie is classic. Like we all know his nose was red. It looked bad animation, but it's good.
Right.
I don't know. Christmas Story is a little overrated. To me.
Fair enough.
To me.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll start. Let's see if I can remember these off the top of my head because I didn't write them down.
Because you ain't got no glasses and you
That's
blind.
true. So there was no point in me writing them down. Number 1, number 2, number.
Who's got problems to this time? Oh, it's not me all the time. Okay.
All right. So number 5 is going to be, and this is where I do the same thing that you were talking about with Home Alone.
1 and 2.
The Santa Claus, the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
Okay.
Like I'll put that number 5. I'll put that. I didn't particularly care for number 2 all that much, but I still the original Santa Claus is
Because you
amazing.
said you like the Santa Clauses show too.
Yeah.
So you love all of that.
I do.
little
I'm a
universe.
I'm a Tim Allen guy. He's hilarious. As Santa Claus.
That kid is way too whiny in that movie. That's the turnoff for me.
And the first one?
Yeah, even in the second one.
Yeah. Kids are whiny
Too
as hell.
whiny for me.
All right, let me see if I can. God, this is one I think I've forgotten. Number 4. Oh crap.
Good thing we didn't know about this for a whole week.
I know, right?
Well, I had it written down and then I misplaced it, and then
I'll let you get full relief from any of the grief that you've gotten in the past.
So I get no credit for being on top of it every single week up until now. Got it.
Sometime today, old man.
Hey, whoa.
Sorry.
Number 4 for me is. Damn it. This sucks. I can't remember what number 4 is.
Maybe you should have wrote it down.
Yeah, I should have, but I wouldn't have been able to see it.
You want me to ramble off some lists for you, some movies?
No, it's because I know 3, 2, and 1. I'm having a hard time with 4. All right, I'll get to. I'll come back to 4.
Okay.
I'll come back to 4. Number 3 is. Oh, wait a minute.
You better not put Elf at 4.
No, number 3 is Elf.
Everybody got Elf at about 3.
Number 2 is Family Man with Nicolas Cage. And number 1 is Christmas with the Cranks.
So you don't even have Christmas Vacation in your top 5?
That's probably where I'm missing Christmas Vacation then. It's probably
Or
it's
Christmas
probably 4.
Story? Even
No,
though I
it's
think
not Christmas
it's
Story.
overrated?
Christmas Vacation is definitely in my top 5. I'm still thinking I'm not sure if I had 3 or 4. But Christmas Vacation is definitely in my top 5.
We know who
Yeah.
has the worst list.
Santa
this
Claus, Christmas Vacation, Elf, Family Man, Christmas with the Cranks. That's my top 5. I don't have the worst list.
week. Out of ours, yes, you
No,
do.
I don't. Absolutely not.
We both agree that your list is
Doesn't mean that you're both right at all.
your list is
Yeah, I
like
don't know if I'm watching any of those movies other than Christmas Vacation.
And
Where-
Elf. I had Elf in there.
Oh, Elf. Okay.
where does Jingle All the Way go?
Never
I can't
seen it.
stand that movie. You talking about Schwarzenegger and Sinbad?
It's
That movie
iconic
sucks,
though.
dude.
It's
That movie
iconic
is
though.
Terrible.
It is bad, but as most Christmas movies are though, they're not the greatest movie. It's Christmas. Like,
That's
what
why,
you supposed to do?
there are so many Christmas movies out there right now, but I don't watch that many of them because I try to watch something outside of my package of 12 that I watch.
I've watched them all this year.
And I try, like if you go to Netflix or Hulu or any of these
Or
other ones and you
Peacock, they
find
just got-
and you find the Christmas section, there's dozens of them. And I've tried to watch them, whether they're the Hallmarky type or this or the princess this or the this that, and I'm like, I get 15 minutes in, I'm like, you call this a Christmas movie? Like, I can't do it. Man.
Where'd Bad Santa go?
Bad Santa's hilarious.
What
Never
about
seen it.
Die Hard? That's not a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie, but
That's not a Christmas movie.
it's a very, very good movie.
What else?
Yeah, there you go. See, we have somebody that commented.
Is that what?
Jermaine commented, said Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. They had a Christmas party, and the terrorists tried to ruin it, so a cop had to fight to save Christmas. It was on Christmas Eve.
This Christmas,
Christmas
is good. About Christmas is good. Genie, Candy Cane Lane this year.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's really good. Eddie Murphy, to me, was really good in it.
I really want to see that.
There's a Disney Christmas movie that came out with Ludacris and Lil Rel. He's a comedian.
Tried to watch it.
I watched it. I liked it. Santa Claus farted cinnamon, so it was kind of cool to me. There's a lot of Christmas movies. Genie was really good with Melissa McCarthy, the remake on Peacock. I watched that. I watched Bad Moms Christmas.
Hilarious
That's really
movie.
funny.
That's a hilarious freaking movie. That's creepy. That's inside like my top 10 now.
It's like Bridesmaids to me. It's
Right.
like,
Have you seen that?
I'm gonna say this. I'll say this in closing. How the hell do y'all find all this time to watch all these damn movies?
because we don't watch sports as much as you do.
And there it is.
I don't watch sports all the time.
Yes,
I don't
you
watch
do.
That much TV, actually. No, it's when I do watch TV, it's just sports. That's,
Okay.
I don't watch TV that much.
So when
Put a movie on instead of watching some sports.
I mean,
Like right now, instead of watching that Memphis comeback, you could have had Jingle All the Way playing in the background.
here's the thing, though. You don't really have to pay attention to the whole game. You really just need the last 2 or 3 minutes. The movies, you got to pay attention to them damn things. You're going to miss something.
Well, I mean, during the Christmas holidays, because we're talking about Christmas movies, I usually try to get in a Christmas movie every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a tradition for us. Like when I get off work or whatever, and I get home, when we're eating dinner, we've got a Christmas movie on.
And I've been on the IR, so I've watched a lot of them. But they're all movies that I've been seeing, though.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
but it's just really good to turn on a Christmas movie and be like, oh, man,
Yeah.
I remember where I was at when I first seen this movie. Especially Elf. I own it on Blu-ray. I own it on DVD. I own it on digital.
Digitally.
I watch it on TNT. I
Right.
watch it on TBS. Watch it everywhere.
So is that one of the remote drops? If it's on, you're like, well, yeah.
Oh, when Elf can come on in March, I'm still gonna watch it. Elf is a Christmas movie, but it transcends Christmas. to
It
me.
is hilarious.
Yes.
It is very, very good. So obviously this was our Christmas show. It's been a lot of fun. We had certainly quite a bit of conversation around the NFL, and we just, I think, realized we just came to the realization that maybe the football hasn't been all that great because we don't have very many good quarterbacks. Like I think it's kind of like it, but then until you say it out loud and you have a conversation about it, you're like, wait, damn.
We got some shitty quarterbacks.
We really don't have very good quarterback play in this league right now. So it is our Christmas show. Christmas is just in a few days, so really looking forward to that. Spending some time with some family, even though I do have some travel coming up, which should be a lot of fun. I'm want to say that with a
Were you smiling or were you like grimacing? What was
it was a
that?
combination of both. There's like, yeah, it's gonna be great.
I don't know what to do with my hands. With your face. That was what you were doing.
I don't know
just
what
then?
that is.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's going to be a little bit of that, but definitely a lot of time spent with family coming up. So looking forward to Christmas Eve with my folks, part of Christmas Day at my house, and then the other part of that day is going to be traveling.
Yeah, I don't love the holidays because my sister passed away a couple years ago. So this year I've gotten more festive with my daughter and the wife.
That's
and
good.
The family. So it's
helps
kind
the
of
soul.
rebounding.
Yeah.
Which is why I watched so many Christmas movies this
Yeah.
year too.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, let me get back in the mood.
Yeah. Heck
Doing
yeah.
the whole Elf on the Shelf thing.
Yeah.
I got a lot of pictures of Elf on the Shelf. Put them in a crock pot, hung them off the car, put them on a chandelier.
Yeah. I have one on a chandelier right now. For
Yeah,
the grandkids.
he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in the bathtub, feeding the Crocs.
Yeah.
He's like, don't watch out for the Crocs.
I got to do a new one tonight. I got to put him somewhere. I'm thinking food related. I'm going to have him like get into the pantry and there'll be food on the floor and stuff and like crumbs on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like do something mischievous.
I've seen a lot
You know
of
what I mean?
good ones too. I just screenshot them and just send them to the wife. Like, hey, do this
That's
one.
the one we need to do.
Yeah.
I'll end up doing something that tonight for the grandkids. So definitely getting into that. So I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. We'll be back next week, right after Christmas. That'll be our show. Right after Christmas, we're recording the Tuesday. No, we're not.
No, I'm just making a face.
Oh, I was like, you're about to tell me you're not going to be here.
I was trying to see if you was going to give us a break or something, but
Did you want a break?
I thought we were on Christmas break.
Is that where we're? Nobody said anything to me about this. This is news. We're
you
doing
didn't
a
even
show.
have your top 5 list.
Is that cause for a break then?
I don't know. Does my contract say I can take a break?
All right.
Holiday pay?
Well, we'll let everybody know about that coming up here via social media. We'll let everybody know what's happening with that.
We got holiday pay?
Sure, absolutely. In the form of, I don't know, something. Holiday bonuses.
Some glasses for you. That's what your Christmas gift
Sorry,
will
you
be.
guys were getting Christmas gifts. Now I got to buy some new glasses. So
Christian's getting some hand soap, but he already know that.
he's getting new hand soap.
Some Bath and Body Works hand soap because his hand soap sucks.
Always with the hand soap situation. All right. So, anybody got any last words?
I got a cool shirt on. Look, it's a tribute to Razor Ramon with Diesel and Six and Shawn Michaels and Triple H because he passed away.
Okay.
It's a really good one.
It's a
And
good
it got a nice quote on the back too.
Nice.
I just got to show my wrestling shirt off for the fans.
So those are your last words?
Love you, wrestling fans, huh?
Those are your last
Oh
words?
no, I'm gonna promote myself. Follow me. Ow, that hurt. Charlotte Shaka 51 on all your socials, and we are at BallzOut with a Z, BALLZOUT. That's how sports. On all of the rest of them things as well. Twitter, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, OnlyFans. What's the other one coming?
People are going to start going to OnlyFans to see if we actually exist there. That's going to be hilarious.
Christian, get on that. Yeah, follow us on all them socials. We've been putting some more content out there. There's some stuff coming and down the pipe. Share it, like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification thing. Follow us here. We doing it live. There's no edits in here. This is all off the top, as you can see with his crappy Christmas list that he didn't know the numbers for. So that's what you're gonna get here. Christian still sucks. That's regular. Happy holidays to you all. Thank you for flipping me the finger. I got you back. And yeah, we love you.
Crispy,
Is that good?
I don't know if you're going to be able to top
Have a
that.
good holiday. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Enjoy your holiday. Stay safe, and we'll catch y'all soon.
There you go.
He didn't even give stay hydrated.
We'll get one.
We're not at the end of the show.
See, he knows.
He knows
Somebody
what's up.
don't know their top 5 list though.
Oh, wow. So apparently, you know what? Here, never mind. All right.
Sorry.
Always on top of the list until today. Now I'm not going to hear about the end of this until, like, I don't know,
At least for like a week.
at least a week. All right. So for Allah here in studio, Crispy in Greenville, South Carolina, Christian on the other side of the camera. I am Jonas Mount. We will see you next time. We will let you know via socials when that next time will be. We appreciate you tuning in.
There's a little camera right there. I forgot.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You didn't touch it though. You gotta touch it.
There we go.
Right
Touched it.
there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Crispy on the Jumbotron. I do appreciate that. Again, for Ala and Crispy, I am Jonas Mount. We will see you next time. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff.
Suck it, jabronis.
Stay hydrated.
Yo, watch the podcast, dog. All right? You get to see me and me and me with my broken ass finger, okay? I'm here. What is this, Tuesdays? Every Tuesday night from 9 to 11. Live on the YouTubes. Check us out on all the socials. At Shalashaka51. That's me, first of all. I got to promote myself, even with my broken digit. Secondly, I'm a
Nobody cares.
Almost lost my life. Secondly, I'm promoting this show, which is at BallzOut Sports. BALLZ. That hurt. BALZ out sports on all your socials. Christian, they should be that area. Load them into the belt.